Hey guys, it's Lang. In this video podcast, I would say it's not really a video, but as you can see here, in this video, we're going to be talking about fat and basically the truth about fat and how to have permanent weight loss. And even the word, it's like the English language is very the language that we use when we're going about a certain task or a certain way of thinking is very important, I think, in changing behavior. Now, permanent weight loss. Well, the words weight loss, mean losing pounds. What does that mean? What kind of pounds are we losing? Are we losing pounds of muscle, pounds of fat? And I think in most cases, most people want to lose pounds of fat, right? And there's just so much information on the internet and I wouldn't say misinformation, but different kind of viewpoints on how losing fat's possible, right? There's products out there that are fat blockers, that are carbohydrate blockers, and I think one of the most detrimental I wouldn't say it's like myths out there about weight loss is if you eat lots of fat, you're gonna absorb that fat and that fat becomes fat in your body. That's not how it actually works. And I would say there's about two fundamental causes of obesity in America today. One of it is misinformation. Like I've said before, there's just tons of information about diet and health from our own government agencies and from dietitians and mainstream medicine. And much of the information given in the public is like about 20 to 30 years incorrect, and it's perpetuated and promoted by these supplement companies and by drug companies. So that's one thing. This is the misinformation, or there's too much information. You don't know what to go after and what actually works and what actually doesn't. Excuse me. And I think the other main thing is the nutrient deficiencies that we have nowadays because of our diet and because of the processed foods. The processed foods that we eat in our modern day society, they're high in energy, but they lack nutrients. They lack the good nutrients that our body needs. And people say, isn't obesity like just a willpower thing? Isn't it because the person is weak in their willpower and they just keep eating? Isn't that the reason why that they're obese? Well, that's just a myth. Okay, there's nothing like having a weak mind with food cravings. That just because you have a weak mind doesn't mean you're gonna have food cravings. That's not it. It's not some kind of psychological disorder. It's actually caused by neurotransmitters in your brain and your organs telling you that you're eating the wrong kind of foods, and because of these food lack nutrients, that's why you have these food cravings, because the food you're eating is, it's energy dense, calorie dense, but it doesn't have the necessary nutrients that your body needs. So that in that way, it's kind of your body's way of telling you that you're still hungry, you still have food cravings, but it's because you didn't give me enough of the good nutrients. And okay, so let's talk about how does your body actually accumulate fat? Easy question, right? Well, the thing is, most people think that the answer is pretty simple, pretty logical, right? They say that if you eat fat, that fat accumulates in your body, and that's how you get fat. That's wrong, okay? It's a myth, and just because you eat lots of fat, the fat will not become fat within your body. That doesn't actually how your body works. Now, let me explain how fats work, okay? There are different types of fats, right? And some of these fats are not very good for your body. Some of these fats are actually very good for your body. So for example, trans fats are present in a lot of processed foods. Trans fats are not good because they can cause heart attacks and all that other bad stuff, okay? And how are these trans fats made is they're made using a process called hydrogenation, okay? And basically the food company takes the natural fats, uses this process, makes it into this trans fat, okay? It changes the molecular structure of the natural fats into trans fat. Now, the body can't absorb or it can't deal with trans fats, but it can absorb the natural fats. Okay, this is probably a topic that I'll have to go into further in a different video. But let's go back to how your body creates the fat. Okay, so how does your body make the fat? Okay, I think a better way of explaining it would be to go backwards. So how did the fat get there? How did the fat get on your stomach? How did the fat get on your thighs? Okay, and the thing is, most people think that if you eat foods that contain natural fat, that fat will be put on your body. But that doesn't work, right? Because people think that, oh, okay, if I eat this natural, like, fat-containing food, the fat it goes to my stomach, so then when it goes to my stomach, it gets absorbed into my body, and that's where the fat goes. No, that is not how it actually works. So where does it actually come from? Well, most of the fat that you see around your body, the one that's, I guess, hanging or beside your thigh, it's primarily triglycerides, okay? It's the same fat that causes heart attacks and strokes, okay? And you'd be surprised, but most of the fat that you see is actually created by your liver. You're like, what? How is that possible? Why would my liver do that? Well, the liver is an amazing organ of your body, and most of the fat that's around your body is created by the liver. But why does the liver create this fat, you say, in the first place? Well, we'll have to go back to the food that we've eaten to understand this. So when we eat foods, right, there is sugar present in the carbohydrates that are in the food, and these sugars are converted into glucose. Okay? Now, when we have glucose in our blood, the pancreas, which is another organ in our body, releases insulin, which transports this glucose to the cells of our body where it's needed for energy. Okay? But the cells in our body can only handle so much glucose. Whatever extra glucose is not used, it's taken back to the liver, where the liver does more processing. Okay? So then what the liver does is the liver takes the glucose, the extra glucose that is in your blood, it changes it into glycogen, which then is transported back to the muscles for reserve energy, right? And with any extra stored in the liver. And again, the storage capacity for glycogen in your muscles is also limited, right? The lower lean body mass that you have, the lower amount of muscle that you have, the lower amount of glycogen that can be stored. Okay? So any excess glycogen is then further processed by the liver to create, guess what? Fat. Triglycerides. The fat that is around your body. So this extra fat, the triglycerides, is then transported throughout your body to places where it can be stored. That doesn't have any storage limitations. And this usually is your buttocks, your thighs, your stomach, places where there is an unlimited storage capacity for these kinds of things. Now, you're probably you know, how can I, that's not how fat works. No, that's how fat works. So it's actually funny because um, I had a friend who actually ate the same amount of foods that he was eating before, but the only thing that he changed in the 3 months was he went to the gym every day working out. And it's funny because he actually reduced his overall fat percentage in his body by about 5% while eating the same amount of foods. Now you're asking, well, how is that possible? Well, the thing is, remember when we went, he actually increased his lean body mass quite a bit when he went to the gym, and as a result of that, your liver doesn't have to produce, his liver in this case didn't have to produce as much triglycerides, right? The fats that are actually the fat that is around your stomach and your thighs. So that's how that's what the truth about fats is really about. And one thing I want to say is that, if you are overweight, if you are obese, or maybe you've let yourself go over the years, it's okay. you know it's always about taking the first step, doing that one thing that will slowly change your habits. For example, when I first started my weight loss and muscle gaining phase of my life, I was 27 years old, and I was diagnosed with high cholesterol at the age of 27. Now, it scared me, and it actually made me slowly improve my life. I remember when I first started going to the gym, I couldn't run. I wouldn't say run, I couldn't even jog for 5 minutes on the treadmill. It was very hard. Like, I felt my lungs like were gonna give out. I was saying to myself, wow, this is like the hardest thing in the world. Like, how can people go for 30 minutes on the treadmill and not bust a sweat? Like, I didn't understand that. So I set a goal for myself. Like, for the next like workouts that I had, I improved. Like, I told myself I'll add 1 minute. So for the first day, I jogged 5 minutes. The next workout that I had, I jogged for 6 minutes. I never went over. I was always just an extra minute every workout. And I was working out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So every workout, I would just go to the gym. I would jog. So the first day I would jog 5 minutes. Then on Wednesday, I jogged 6 minutes. And then on the Friday, I would jog 7 minutes. And now it's 2012, and I could say that I could actually jog for an hour now, and it's pretty amazing how from where I started and where I am at today. So I just want to leave you guys with that, and my own personal fat loss journey, and we'll see you guys next time.